Well, hey there everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Adam, thanks for hanging out with me again today. And today we have back on the bench the Mud Blaster 2. And basically we're going to turn it into the Mud Blaster 4. So we're taking this and going from two-wheel drive to four-wheel drive. So this is the WT01 chassis that these sit on. Now this is also shared with, I think, the Blackfoot Extreme, possibly the Blackfoot 3. And a couple others. I don't remember. I'll link up here to a video of, all of what this truck came on. But anyway, and I'll also link here to the build video and run video if you want to see it, as is. So this has been a while coming. I've been ordering parts here and there. I had some of the stuff sitting here for quite a while. I just needed to get to it. So the goal is basically we are taking a whole new transmission, which basically it's the motor, transmission, outdrive, all in one unit. And basically, it sits in the rear like this, and it sits in the front like this. Not a really hard swap over, but you do have to have some extra parts to do it. So drive shafts, because you need to get from transmission to tires, and also drive cups, because the assembled transmission piece does not come with the drive cups in it. So I had to get drive cups separately, and then also the axles with the appropriate drive cups in it. I think the fronts may actually... I'm not 100% sure. I need these. I couldn't remember from building it if they just had the drive axles in there and they just ran on bearings, or did we need to get these. So I went ahead and ordered them anyway. So what the truck has in it right now is a torque tune motor. The transmission comes with a stock silver can. I can't remember off the top of my head if I don't have another torque tune, but I do have some sport tunes, but I believe they have timing in them. So what I'm gonna do, just be on the safe side, is I'm gonna put in another stock 540 in the rear, run the stock 540 up front, just gotta reverse the wires. That way I know I have equal, power going, one motor forward, one motor reverse, will have the equal power. To run two motors, I had to get the Hobby Wing 880 dual motor brush speed control. Because this only has, I think, 1060 in it. No, this actually has one of the old Tamiya, the 10BLK or whatever motor. But we have bearings to upgrade the transmission to bearings because the rear's already been done. So I'm taking a chance. I've got two sets of 50 519 shocks. Now, I also have 5520s if these are too short. But it's not what they call for in the manual. What did they call for in the manual? So in the manual it calls for 53 155 low friction aluminum damper set. Yeah, I'm not putting aluminum shocks on this, and I've run 5519s and 5520s on multiple cars without any issues. You can build them in 4 different links depending on top link, bottom link, spacers and all. So I'm pretty sure these will be fine. But putting some oil-filled shocks on here because the friction shocks are just... So hopefully this will settle it down, and then we'll have four-wheel drive out of it. Now, it's going to probably go just a little bit slower with the stock motors in there, but I just want to make sure that I have zero timing front and rear to where I'm not overworking one and underworking another one. So I'm going to shut up. I'm going to get this guy torn down. I don't really think I'm going to take a whole lot of pictures and everything. This is just kind of a quick, swap it out type thing. I don't know. We'll see. If you see pictures, I did. If you didn't, we'll come back and it'll be a four-wheel drive truck. Well, all right, guys. So we got the conversion completed. There were some little things along the way I just want to point out. So I built the 5519 shocks, and they work perfectly. Built them to the 67 millimeter length. They're exactly the same as the stock ones. They do have a little bit more travel than the stock ones. And you have, when you buy those kits, you'll have an extra O-ring in each one, and I put that O-ring in between the shock body and the bottom of the shock to give it a little bit of padding, because it's going to bottom out. The problem with them is I used the standard 2-hole piston and the yellow oil. I was hoping it would be a little bit slower, but we're just as bouncy as we were before. So I'm gonna have to take shocks back off, drain them, and put some thicker oil in there, or put the single hole pistons in, one of the two. But for right now, we're just gonna leave it as it is. The only scary part was when I got the transmission mounted into the front end. I went to put the front bumper on, and basically the front bumper acts as a lock to the little U-shaped suspension pins for the front arms. And there's no holes on the bottom of the transmission to mount the bumper. So I quickly ran and grabbed my box of Tamiya bits and pieces. So on this is the piece that came out of the truck that basically is the space holder for that transmission. So this just screws in like this with four screws on each side, and there's actually 4 screw holes down here where that big wide front bumper screws on. And there's a little groove down here where it captures that U-shaped pin to keep the suspension pin from moving back and forth. Yeah, so quickly ran and got the bucket of Tamiya spare bits and pieces, and as you can see, there's quite a few things in there. So basically, when I'm done with the kit, I will take all the little small bits and pieces off the sprues, whether they're spares or possibly could be used for something later on. I'll snip everything off those sprues, chop up the sprues, get rid of those, and then I will throw bits and pieces into the tub like this, just for the off chance I may need them for this project or, you know, another project down the road. And thank goodness I did, because there would be no way to do that conversion without the small bumper, and there's a little piece up here that gets swapped out that clamps that suspension pin on. So thankfully I keep all my old stuff and was able to get it on. But I did put the stock motors in it, so it has regular silver can motors. The 880 ESC is a lot bigger than the one I took out, and this was the TEU 104BK. So this is an old ESC. You know, kits 2000s, somewhere 2001, 2002, something like that. But the footprint was so much bigger on that I actually had to move my receiver and everything, and I basically stuck the receiver to the back of the steering servo. So now everything, all the electronics are nice and tight and compact in there. But we now have four-wheel drive. So I will get this out later on. It's starting to rain, so I'm not able to get it out today, but I will get it out, and we'll end this off with some, you know, a little bit of a picture montage. You know, it looks the same. It just now has, you know, full tires that move. It's going to be bouncy. I may get around to changing the oil before I get out there and run it, but yeah, probably not. It's probably just going to go bouncing around. But anyway, I hope you guys liked a little bit of, you know, mods to this. So it is something you can do. The parts aren't that expensive, so you do need the transmission unit, and you can find those on eBay usually. So you also need the drive shafts for the Thundershot, the out-drive cups for the Thundershot, and then the axles. I don't remember if those were for the Thundershot or not. I'll put part numbers below for the parts that you actually need to get this going. But again, if you built this kit and tossed that front bumper and that little extra mount, you're going to have a heck of a time probably finding that bit to do it. So just keep that in mind, that if you have thrown those away when you built your kit, you know, 10 years ago, doing this four-wheel drive conversion, you're going to have that front bumper. Well, actually, technically, it's the rear bumper and the bumper mount, because there's basically 2 little screws that go into that, or 3 screws that go into that little mount, and there's 4 screws that hold it to the back end of the back end, front end of the transmission. Anyway, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today. We'll take it out for a drive. Everybody out there, you guys be happy, be healthy, be safe, and I will catch you guys on the next one. See ya.